Well, hello there, Linda, Pancho, Zorch, Cassie A. Hello, Kathy Evans, Lorna, hello there, everybody, Rosemary, Shaman Sunday with Curtis, Prospecting USA out there looking for gold across America. Hopefully you found some. What do you say there, Jennifer? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. Round of applause, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And also, everybody, we are broadcasting in some extra channels tonight and some crime shows, outfits, and Facebooks and everything. So thank you for letting us broadcast there and give us the opportunity to showcase what we do. And also, our disclosure. This is for entertainment purposes only. All parties are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And if somehow this comes across your radar and you think it's you that's involved in this case, don't call me. But anyways.
Yes,
yes.
for sure.
Right. So we are talking about this case here. And this one is a very sad case.
It is.
Jennifer actually came across this case. Jennifer, talk to me about this case.
So I've lived in the French Quarter as a resident in New Orleans for about 13 years. And I was here when this happened. And this case is something I've been wanting to cover, but I was having a hard time finding it. This kid, Joshua Woodruff, was 28 when he was killed. He was here in New Orleans celebrating New Year's Eve and was with two of his college buddies. He went to the corner of Dumaine and Decatur Street, being an extremely heavily trafficked.
Yes, heavily busy.
Was trying to flag down an Uber. Now, the Uber couldn't find where they were. And we're going to talk. I want to hit on why that is, and we'll rant about that later. He stepped out in a crosswalk at the corner to flag the Uber, saying, hey, we're over here. And a vehicle had made a turn onto Decatur and hit him.
Wow.
It ran him over from the front, and he was trapped under the vehicle. And they found him at 3:30 in the morning on a main bridge between the East Bank and West Bank here called the Crescent City Connection. About 3:30 in the morning, a passing motorist found him. And we'll play some news about that as well. So, and 6 miles, this kid was drugged. 6 miles underneath this vehicle. And after we see the news reports and watch the videos, I'm going to give you all, hi everyone, hey Susan. I'm going to give you all perspective of what the distance is, the most direct route from where he was hit and where he was found and how far that was versus how far he was drugged. It's going to shock everybody for sure. I've reached out to his mom and I told her we were covering tonight and next week. And I asked, is there anything you want to say, you don't want us to say? I haven't heard back from her. Hopefully she'll reach back out to me before next week because I really, really want to help this family because they can't find anything. They don't even have a license plate. How? I don't get it. How?
Yeah, that's very strange.
It's inept investigating. I'm just going to say it. That's my opinion. Like it or don't, agree or not. But it's a prime example. And this family deserves some closure for their child. As you can hear, I've always been very emotional about this case, even though obviously as a tourist, never met him. But I hate that visitors come to my city that I absolutely love and I have a business in and I work in and I'm proud of it and I'm proud of our history, that they should come here and be able to be safe and something like this happens. And I think that's why this really hits me with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, and action.
Good afternoon. We're here today to update the public on new information regarding the case of Joshua Woodruff, a young man who's lost his life here in the city of New Orleans on January of last year. Joshua was a victim of a hit and run on New Year's Day of 2016. Months have passed, but the NOPD has not wavered in our determination to bring those responsible to justice and to bring closure to Joshua's family. We are looking at this case with fresh eyes, and we have new information to release. Our homicide detective, Robert Barre, is now overseeing this investigation. In a few moments, he's going to walk you through where we stand and the new images and information we have to release. I urge anyone within the sound of my voice who knows or believes they know anything regarding the death of Joshua Woodruff to come forward and help us bring those responsible to justice. You can call Detective Barre in homicide, or you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 822-1111. You should never, ever think that we stop working. You should never think that we stop striving to see justice done and to hold criminals accountable for their violent actions. On this case and every case, we continue as long as it takes. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Detective Barre.
Good afternoon. As you know, I'm now investigating the Woodruff case. This case was handled almost 2 years ago now. We are looking to hopefully obtain the help of the community to help solve this investigation, help us identify the perpetrator in this crime. Early on in the case, the traffic division was able to obtain several video clips of the suspect vehicle in this case. Once I obtained the case file, I've gone through these video clips and I've taken several snapshots or several clips of this vehicle in question. Initially, they released a handful to the media almost 2 years ago. We want to release numerous pictures now, different angles of the car, front angles, rear angles, profiles, in an attempt to maybe jog some of the down there. As we all know,
it looks like a
during,
UFO.
New Year's Eve. It's a major event for the city. We have a lot of tourists in town, a lot of people in town who celebrate. I believe someone knows who did this.
It's the best shot.
Who did this, knows they did this. We're urging them to come forward and tell us what they know. The family, they're very good people. They want to know what happened to their son. They want answers. They want closure. So with these new pictures, we're hoping that someone out there who actually saw this event or saw this car maybe driving through the French Quarter that night, may be able to call us and help us identify the make and model of this vehicle, because that's our main piece of evidence is this video surveillance that we have from the French Quarter. And I'm sorry, also, if you want to call Crime Stoppers anonymously, the reward is now, I believe, $15,000 for any information on this case, at least when arrest. As the chief said, the number is 822-1111. Also, you can call me directly. Rob Barrere. I'm at the homicide office is 658-5300. I'm urging the community to come forward and give us anything that can help us solve this.
Jennifer, you want to reach out to him, see if he wants to come on the show?
I can.
Okay.
Case. We appreciate.
Don't hold your breath. I just need to get his name again.
The incident started around Decatur and Dumaine. Mr. Woodruff was celebrating the French Quarter. As he was struck, the vehicle traveled all through the French Quarter, numerous streets, Dumaine, Decatur, Chartis, many streets, until eventually that vehicle got onto the US 90. We believe it went to the West Bank. Mr. Woodruff's body was actually found at the General de Gaulle exit. That's where, so we have a almost 6 mile, path of flight by this vehicle. So, started off in the French Quarter. It ended almost in Algiers. Right. What do the new images show? What do you want the public to look at? Right. So the vehicle is very distinctive. If you notice, there's a very distinctive silver window trim on the lower portion of the car. You can look at that. There's a very distinctive taillight pattern on the car. You can kind of see the hubcaps on the vehicle. The problem is some of the images have that kind of trail effect because the vehicle's in motion. So it looks almost like that kind of ghost effect. But, somebody who may be good with identifying vehicles could look at some of these pictures and maybe ascertain what this car is. What we want to do, though, we don't want, we're trying to get factual information. We don't want just a bunch of random car. Well, it could be this, it could be that, because it's been almost 2 years. So we're hoping that someone actually knows definitively, A, who this person is, or B, what type of car this is, that they actually saw it in the French Quarter that night, or maybe saw it getting off the Algiers exit that night around, around 3:30 in the morning. we're hoping that those people call in with specific information on this car. But there are numerous new shots of this car. There's kind of aerial shots, side views. We're hoping that, you know, in total, all these images could help us identify the make and model of this car. Possibly that the traffic division and our DFU unit scoured and they obtained numerous locations that had video, and the car travels through many different streets as it traverses through the French Quarter, eventually going to the West Bank. So the case file was handed over to me. These images, a portion were released to the media almost 2 years ago now when the actual event occurred. I just want to get more pictures out. I believe that more pictures, different angles of this car may help someone identify this car. I mean, there were images released and they were good images, but we have over 30 new images that we want to kind of put out there in hopes that someone recognizes this car. Someone who may have been walking around down there, may have seen the car pass by, may have seen the car getting off at the Algiers exit, you know, around 3:30 in the morning. We're hoping that someone saw this or actually knows who this person is that drives this car and can call in and give us some information on this person and or vehicle. There was a sketch release that's still under investigation. We're still working at that angle. That's not a definitive right now. We're just, it was done early on. We're still looking at that angle, but right now the most important piece of information in this case is this vehicle. If we can identify this vehicle, we believe we can hopefully find who did this and determine who they are and go from there.
Well, good question. It initially started in the traffic fatality unit, but we wanted to do our due diligence and put fresh eyes on it with a different perspective and with a different skill set. And so it is now in the hands of this great homicide detective who will bring a different perspective, a different skill set, and perhaps a different approach to what he's looking at, what questions he's asking, and how he's going to go about obtaining this evidence. So it's our due diligence just to make sure we cover our bases, looking at it from every angle. We don't suspect any other nexus to another crime, but like I said, this is the department's doing its due diligence to put a set of fresh eyes on it with a different perspective and different angles of investigation.
Can you talk a little bit more about the evidence that you have so far? I know you mentioned the different cars and you talk about some numbers on the license plate. Is that still in play?
All of that was kind of discussed beforehand as far as the initial investigation went. We're still looking at the partial plate information. As you can understand, there's a lot of vehicles that travel through the city on any given day. We have yet to identify exactly what that car is, and that's the key right now, is identifying that vehicle. I think once we identify that vehicle, we could really move forward and progress this investigation. That's the key right now, is that car.
The evidence that we have is the same evidence. It's been looked at from a different perspective with a set of fresh eyes. We wanted to put out more photos of what we already had to make sure we give the viewers every possible angle so that we could hopefully get information back that would identify this vehicle and perhaps identify the perpetrator.
Are these all the images you have and video you have, or is there others that perhaps are going to be released?
So I actually went through every video file that was obtained initially by the initial investigating detective. I sat down and I got the best shots of this vehicle we could get. We used a snipping tool. We cut them out, made JPEGs. The images we have now, we believe, are the most clear and accurate depiction of this vehicle, and kind of shows some of the features of the car better than other ones. Because like I said, some video as the car's traveling, it has that kind of trail over effect, and it has lighting, it looks kind of strange, and you can't get a full image of the car. But the ones we selected are some of the better images of the car. You can see, you know, taillight pattern, headlight pattern, some of the trim, and hopefully someone will recognize this vehicle and be able to identify this car. Right now, we're still, I mean, we do have a few shots of the plate. We don't have an exact plate right now. We're still hoping. We've been partnering with FBI is helping us with this, as well as the traffic division. It's like almost like a mutual investigation for different people helping out with this case. And I've been in contact with the FBI, and they've been helping us with this case. But right now, we don't have a definite license plate on this case. I'm not a traffic fatality investigator. It's very subjective. There could be damage to the car. It could be undercarriage damage. We don't really know right now. I mean, every accident is different. Every accident will cause different damage. It all depends on where exactly the car struck Mr. Woodruff. So we don't know at this point the exact damage that this initial crash would have caused. So that car could still be surface damage.
Comb through those tips.
So, and they just go on and on about the same stuff over and over. But what's really weird is that, we know within watching TV, ladies and gentlemen, the first 48 hours is the most crucial part of any investigation or murder case or accident, anything. And we're still talking about this case 2-something years later. And, when I first saw the car, it's like, it's a UFO. I don't know what it is. I mean, back in the days, they had books which you can look at, and it would tell you if the car had this tail lights and this headlights, this is the make and models between this year, between Ford, Chevy, Chevrolet, GMC. But these days, like Jennifer was thinking, and I said thinking, is that, there's programs to clear things up, to watch and see things. Right, Jennifer?
Yeah, I commented they should use AI on those pictures and see what they rebuild. So here's my first issue. That is okay. So here, I don't know, no one can see my pointer. So the right-hand side of Decatur Street, if y'all can see where Decatur Street is, that is traveling, we'll just say north, not really, but north, right? The other side traveling south. Domain only goes one way into the French Quarter. So they either had to make a right-hand turn or a left-hand turn when they hit him. Right there. And that's the intersection he was hit at. Now, a direct route from where he was hit to the Crescent City Connection Bridge, where he was found, is 2 miles, folks. He was drugged 6 miles. My question is, how do they know that? How many cameras did you miss? How do they know he was drugged 6 miles?
Interesting.
Where are the rest of the pictures and the timestamps they looked at? Because I'm assuming that's what they
You made a valid point there. Now you've got me thinking. You just made a valid point.
If they don't have all this information, how do they know he was drugged 6 miles? What are they not saying? I have my theory I'm going to keep to myself. So the other thing, mom said in this, she posted on this, it's a thing called medium.com, and she made this post called 1,000 Days. It was 1,000 days without her son. She said that she believes the Uber driver they were looking for, which, let's just be clear, folks, the Uber driver did not hit him. The Uber driver he was looking for did not hit him. But she says that this Uber driver, how could he be from the area and not be able to find Domain and Decatur as being a main thing? And that, folks, guess what? Very typical in large cities. We get a lot of people that come here during high volume events, and they are not from here, and they're trying to navigate the French Quarter, which is 13/7 of one-way streets. And they couldn't find him. Thank you, Linda. I wrote that down. I appreciate it. I'm going to contact Cold Case Files as well, their cold case unit, and see if they'll talk to me. So then you can compound all of that with that. So why is it not, I mean, I hate to say this about people, but I think the best case scenario why these people aren't coming forward, let's just list why. They're going to get charged, and they're afraid of it, right? I mean,
well, yeah, they're going to get charged. I mean, they left a scene of an accident. Somebody was drugged over 6 miles.
Yep.
Now you're trying to tell me at this point, at that time, in New Orleans in the French quarters that nobody beyond a reasonable doubt saw that.
Yep.
BS. I don't buy it.
By the way, folks, Domain Indicator is near the Mississippi River. Do you want to know what New Orleans hosts every year here? The Central Time Zone ball drop for Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve. Just to let you know, there was a lot of people here. A lot. So even he was found at 3:30. How long did it take him to find it? You know, even if it was 12:30, 1 o'clock, there's still going to be a lot of people down there for sure. So and let's talk the gruesomeness of it. Where's the trail of blood behind the vehicle? I mean, how do you not find that?
I've done a lot of deer versus vehicles.
Yeah.
And it is not pleasant. And I hate to even think of a human.
Yeah.
Over 6 miles.
Yep.
No.
So if he mentioned the streets, Charters, and a few other streets that he didn't even say the street right. So anyway, so you have the traffic cameras where you have some kind of route that this vehicle took with this poor boy underneath the vehicle. Someone must have heard screaming. Yes.
You had to. I know where this is at. I was down there in New Orleans before Hurricane Katrina. Mm-hmm. So yes, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it's not like downtown Louisville or Louisville, whatever major city you live in. I mean, this is something, come on. Anyways.
So where's the trail of blood? If you have the cameras that you're getting the vehicle information for on some kind of routes, why were you not down there looking for a blood trail? Why? Plus the poor kids he was with, I mean, there was probably only so much they could follow if they ran. You know, they're not going to be able to keep up with it. You're supposed to go 15 miles an hour in the quarter, and trust me when I tell you that doesn't happen.
Right.
It doesn't happen. So, Louisville, LOL.
Hey, you know, Louisville, what do I say? You know, it depends on, yeah, whatever. I'm just saying. So I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, right.
This poor kid, 28 years old, originally from Nebraska, resident of California, graduate of Harvard. I mean, think about the future this kid had. It's just, and no one's fessing up. You know, you can put another thing on there. A, you know you're going to get in trouble, so you're not wanting to get caught. B, you know, at the time you probably had some alcohol in your system. It's New Year's Eve. That's a highly likely, you know, situation there for sure.
Oh, it's beyond a reasonable doubt that they probably had something in them, right? Party wise, consumption wise. Yeah, absolutely. So I just,
it's just, ugh. So the mom wrote about where she was. His older brother had to make that phone call, and she found out at 6:30 in the morning. And they're in California, so it would have been 8:30 in the morning here before she. Now here's the thing, Grizz, this is where you chime in. This originally was assigned in NOPD to traffic. And then a few months later, it was reassigned to homicide.
Right. All right. So let's stop and address that. So anytime vehicle versus pedestrian, right? Yeah. It will always be assigned to traffic. Traffic will have to reconstruct it. They get out their little sticks, little computers, and they would it and they measure and everything else. So now when they could not solve that because of the vehicle versus pedestrian, right? That's how it's listed. And that's how it probably was listed in the media and on the police report to the family after so many days went by. Now they have a murder investigation. Now it turned into homicide because the person did not come forward and say, I did it. They did not confess. They did not have a guilty conscience, right? So now it turned into a homicide because now they have to find the person that was operating that vehicle that ran over that 28-year-old to bring them to justice. So when they keep saying that they had to put another set of eyes on it, what they're trying to say is that each division has their own priorities when it comes to training and visualizing and whatever techniques that they do, whatever, right? So you got traffic, you got homicide, you got narcotics, you got domestic violence, you got B&E. So you got all these different divisions in the police department. So now you got homicide, which I don't know how many detectives they have. You got your chief detectives, your sergeants, and everybody else. And so now you got all these different people in there, different specialities that can look at things. Now they can branch out and look at other areas when they go to vehicle homicides. They can go to people that are specialized in vehicles identifications. They also have connections with FBIs where they can go to help identify vehicles involved in crashes. So yeah, so now they're going to try to spin that off, which is normal. It's just how they operate.
Right. So also to give another perspective on the French Quarter, we do street cleaning in the French Quarter. One side of one street's going one direction, so perpendicular to the river are cleaned on Tuesdays. Streets running parallel to the river are cleaned on Thursdays. Now that involves water, sweeping, everything else. New Year's Day 2016 was a Friday.
All trace evidence was washed.
If they didn't go back if they didn't go back before that next Tuesday or Thursday following, it's gone.
Yeah.
And that district, listen, that district, their police house, their police headquarters is in the quarter on Royal Street. They know it.
Wow.
They know it. Now, someone had mentioned, how loud was it? When the bands are playing close to the river, crazy enough, you can actually still have a conversation on the sidewalk where he was and still hear each other. You're not screaming at the top of your lungs to talk.
Oh, no. When I was down there in New Orleans, we were talking normal.
Yeah.
Even with people screaming, show me beads and drinking and screaming. I mean, yeah, we were talking normal.
And even with those bands playing on the stage, they cut off maybe about 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Right.
So it's still, even with them playing it still isn't that loud, right? Because I've been down there. Now the friends were probably screaming. Absolutely. So how did a crowd of people not around them go, holy crap, we just all saw this? No, where are the witnesses? Because I'm not saying there aren't any, but I can't find an article that talks about any of them.
When there is a lack of something that is not as present, what is that indication of?
Cover up.
Just saying. Because they said he went out into the what?
Crosswalk.
To wave down what?
An Uber.
So somebody saw something.
Yep.
I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen.
If they were the only people on the street and there were no witnesses, how did that Uber not see him? They couldn't have been. They just could not have been. It's just impossible. And not have anyone see. So you wonder. And it stopped. I do have another thing from 2021 that they're covering it again. And there's absolutely nothing. They just said, police say the case is still under investigation, but did not release any further information. We're still praying that someone's conscience will compel them to come forward with information, said Karen, who's the kid's mother. I think there's a lot of power in conscience.
Unfortunately, people don't have that anymore. There's a lot of lack of that.
There really is. There really is. So I don't know. This is I'm very interested for sure. So this is where I know some of the mediums, start with vehicles and things like that and license plates and numbers, which I thought, oh, this is going to be good to see. And it would be very interesting if someone somewhere somehow that would chime in if we got some vehicle information that has access to look those things up. I'm just saying.
Yes, Lorna. So I have hit many animals out in the country.
Yep.
And I don't care if it's a raccoon, you feel it. And if you hit a human body, you hit something. That's why the person didn't stop. I'm just saying that's why they did not stop.
Now, the mom was told that he probably hit his head and died instantly. But they don't know that. They don't know that. Yeah. I was told my uncle was killed in a car crash. He was killed instantly, and I know better. But that's what they tell the family. You know, you don't want to hear the suffering. So the Uber, yeah, Linda, how, I mean, the lights and glare could have made it so they couldn't really make anything out. I'll say that, especially if it was raining at night. The Uber driver should have witnessed that hit and run. Yes. Depending upon where they were sitting. So.
Yeah. So I don't know, but however we look at it, it's a very disturbing case. And in my heart, in our hearts and thoughts go out to the family and friends of Joshua.
Yeah.
And hopefully that anything we can get from this, it can help out the New Orleans Police Department and the family.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this on a replay on iHeartRadio or Spotify or Google app or any other platforms we broadcast on, and you do have information, please contact the New Orleans Police Department or the FBI and tell them what you know.
Yep. Please.
Let's get this case closed. We want to give something to the family, at least, please.
Now, the family did file a wrongful death suit against whoever hit him just to keep an open investigation. And then they would have access to information to investigate on their own as well. So, I mean, they just need closure.
Yeah.
So I hope we can find and help them for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Jennifer, what do you think?
I can't wait till the panel gets all of this one.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I did ask Jennifer to reach out to the detective in charge. We saw that somebody said he was a 12-year-old. Hopefully he doesn't watch that. Somebody said, get him a box. I'm like, oh my God.
He looks so young for his age. We just want to know what his beauty secrets are.
So I am traveling next weekend to that conference up there at Salt Fork. So let's see what Jennifer comes up. And we may go ahead and push this out for the following week so we can get a response back from the mother to give her some time to process this.
Yes.
And to see if she wants to come on and see if she wants to talk with her family. I would love Jennifer to have that opportunity to bring her and her family onto the show and let them talk and plead their case out to the public as well. So let's see how that goes. And we'll go from there. What do you think about that, Jennifer?
I think it's perfect.
Awesome. Awesome. And from coast to coast around the world, ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you shortly tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
to a YouTube channel near you.